Hello there, I'm Jimmy Vegas, and today I want to talk about the next Xbox console, which is rumoured to be called Xbox Prime. Now, aside from the quite obvious silly name, but that's an Xbox thing, they've always had it odd names. I mean, Xbox One being the third console, how strange. Anyway, I specifically want to talk about the prospect of physical media still being around for this next generation of Xbox, and quite frankly, I think it makes sense. Now, we all know that Xbox as a brand is struggling. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. But if you look at the history of Xbox, they had, the original Xbox, and it was okay. It did what it needed to do. It was its first entry into the console market, and for all intents and purposes, it was an alright console. Controller was a bit too big for my hands, but then again, what does it really matter at this point? Because the Xbox 360 that came out was a better controller, and it only came out a few years after. It was able to play quite a lot of these old Xbox games. So Microsoft was already into the whole backwards compatibility thing way back when, and you can't fault them for that. That was a good idea. It's pretty much what sold the Xbox 360 for a lot of people. Not everybody, obviously, but for a lot of people, they wanted a way of, playing their older games, and there you go. They got an Xbox 360. They dropped the ball with Xbox One. We all know they dropped the ball with Xbox One. Always online. If you don't like it, we've got a console for you. It's called the Xbox 360. Deal with it. Yeah, you know all that stuff. Fine, whatever. Microsoft embraced it. They moved on. They changed things. They got better. They got worse. They got better. They got worse. Up and down. And we ended up with Xbox Series X as well. It will be for this disc anyway. But then where does that leave us for the future of Microsoft and the Xbox? Well, obviously we got the Xbox Series S, and we got the whole adorably all digital thing. Not quite sure why it was adorably all digital, or why that was even going to be a thing. But they want to try and push digital media. Now, it has been widely commented on that the next Xbox console is probably going to be the last standalone Xbox console. I don't think so. I still think we're going to see Xboxes around in 2030. But for all intents and purposes, this is probably going to be the last main standalone console from Microsoft. Why do I think that? Well, if you look at how the gaming industry has changed over the years, how generational leaps have occurred, things look better, they look better and better and better. If you look at Super Nintendo to Nintendo 64, if you look at Sega Saturn to Sega Dreamcast, if you look at GameCube to, okay, that's a bad example. Nintendo doesn't really innovate as much as what you think. Anyway, this is about Microsoft. You can see the visual leap from the early days of gaming to the middle days of gaming. But these days, if you look at a PS4 game and a PS5 game, it's so difficult these days to tell the difference a lot of the time. Yes, I know there's performance, but a lot of people don't care about performance. A lot of people don't care about how much quicker it is, all that kind of stuff. They just want to see things look better because we are very shallow as human beings. So, by that standard, this would mean that what's the point in trying to make consoles better and better and better if people aren't going to really buy them anymore? People might just go to PC. I guess we don't really know that for sure. But what I'm all trying to get back to here is these. Now, as I said, Microsoft has always been very confident in their backwards compatibility. They've always done what they can to get these games working on your Xbox Series X. Now, not all games work on Xbox Series X. There are a couple. For example, Dead Rising on the Xbox 360. That doesn't work on the Xbox Series X. It is a bit of a shame. But hey, it is what it is. So, for Microsoft to release one final, massive, awesome console called Xbox Prime, they would most likely want to be able to play every physical Xbox game in existence because that is a good selling point. Microsoft knows that they are behind in the console wars. I don't truly believe in console wars, but for all intents and purposes, they are behind in the console wars. And Sony is ahead. Sony doesn't really need to do anything. We'll end up with a PlayStation 6. And I honestly think we'll end up with PlayStation 7 down the line as well. But, whatever. Microsoft, they know it's probably the end of the line. So they could go out with one big bang and say, look, here is the most powerful Xbox that you can buy, and yes, it can play every single Xbox game you've ever bought. Why not sell your old Xbox Series X? Why not sell your old Xbox 360 and buy an Xbox Prime? You know, it makes sense for Microsoft to do that. Tell everyone to get rid of their Xbox and buy an Xbox Prime because it plays everything. They'll sell. That will absolutely sell. And the only way that that can work is if they embrace physical media. Do it, Microsoft. It makes sense for you to do it. All of these games, all of these Xbox games behind me, they will be playable on an Xbox Prime. So that is why physical media is not quite dead yet. And because of this, Sony will see this, because there's no doubt about it. This Xbox Prime is predicted to come out in 2026. Even if it comes out in 2027, that's still going to be some period of time before the PlayStation 6 comes out. If Sony gets wind of this, then they'll probably think, oh, hang on, Microsoft's doing something there. We need to keep a close eye on that and not kill physical media just yet. We all know the Nintendo Switch 2 is just around the corner, and that still has physical media, which is good. So all of this to say that physical media is not quite dead yet. However, where does that leave Microsoft after the Xbox Prime? Hard to say. There is rumours of a Microsoft handheld coming out. I do think that would be purely digital, though. There'd be no reason to actually have physical media for that. Perhaps they could come up with something that connects with your Xbox Prime, similar to how Sony has the PlayStation Portal connected to a PS5, but obviously it'd be good if the Xbox handheld would be purely standalone. So, for example, as long as you own an Xbox Prime, there you go again, Microsoft, a good way of selling this. As long as you own Xbox Prime, you can put a disc in the Xbox Prime and download it to your Microsoft Xbox handheld or something along those lines. But then you can turn off your Xbox Prime and then you can play it handheld. There you go. It's all locally on your SSD inside your handheld Xbox. That's a really, really clever way of doing it. Will Microsoft do that? Genuinely, they might do. I mean, you can look at Microsoft and say they make a lot of silly mistakes, but I think with this one, they've seen the market, they've seen the performance of Xbox, they know they need to do something, and I genuinely think that they know it's down to physical media. That's why I think this Xbox Prime will be able to play every single Xbox game to ever exist on disc. Kinect might be a bit of a different story, though. I mean, it'd be really, really good if they were able to do that. You know, some ports on the back of your Xbox Prime that has one for your Kinect 360, one for your Xbox One Kinect, you know, just as a little, here you go, fans, you know, here's everything. Because that is the only way Microsoft will ever be able to market another Xbox, by saying, sell all your old Xboxes and buy an Xbox Prime because it plays all of your old games. That makes sense to me. Whether it makes sense to Microsoft, I don't know. Anyway, this could all be a load of rubbish. I don't know, because it might not even be an Xbox Prime. It might not ever come out. We might never see another Xbox. I'm only just going off the rumours that we are going to get an Xbox Prime in 2026, and it seems logical anyway. What do you think anyway? Would it make sense for the Xbox Prime to play all of these older games? I think it would, but please do let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.